And we are live, and I'm joined by my friend DLD. And originally, DLD stood for Dark Light Dugan, and he used to do a podcast with Dugan Ashley that uh, turned into Destructive Liberty Devices After Dark. Dark Mavis himself, and we're going to be talking about Dugan Ashley, who is better known as CarnikCon on here, and we're going to talk about what the charges are, the ones I think might stick, and the ones I think are total BS. How you doing, Dark? You're muted, dude.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just pissed off. Like this is insane. I don't know. I think this is something that we need to look into and learn a little bit about exactly what happened because the way I understand it, Dugan didn't break any laws that would cause the federal agents to come to his house, but uh, I don't know. I'm sure there's stuff we don't know.
Um, from what I understand and what I've been told and been said, hey, you can go ahead and say whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. Uh, One I really don't understand. The other one, maybe it's breaking federal law. I mean, I don't think it should be a federal law, but hey, that's me.
And I think before we jump into it, if I could just say, like you mentioned earlier, Dugan Ashley is known, because of the CarnikCon channel, and there were a number of people involved with the CarnikCon channel, but Dugan Ashley was like the main dude, and he was so ahead of his time, and he like started GunTube, like seriously, making these perfect, beautifully executed, high level, high quality satire videos that were just awesome. Like we all fell in love with Dugan. If you knew CarnikCon, you knew Dugan was an awesome guy. But just to even aside from that, like genuinely a good person and good human being.
Yeah. All right. So let's go into exactly what happened to Dugan Ashley. He lived in Missouri, and the ATF have arrested him, and the investigation goes all the way back until September 18th, 2023, when he started using YouTube. He had a YouTube channel, not the CarnikCon YouTube channel. This is a different YouTube channel where he talked about different explosives and every everything else, and he gave instructions on how to build certain explosives. This came to light because there was a guy named Shamsud Dare Jabbar who tried on January 2025 to detonate a couple IEDs in New Orleans. Now, those IEDs failed to detonate, but when they interviewed him, he said he learned how to build them by watching Dugan Ashley. Um,
Well, hold on. Didn't he get killed on scene, or did he get captured? They could have just gotten his search history or
well,
something
search
too.
history. Well, they found out that that's how where he learned it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, guys in the chat, his channel is still up. Just so y'all know, there's yeah, if anyone out there wanted to archive stuff, because I don't believe that there's anything unlawful about anything he posted ever. Um, and I'm sure we'll touch on, what we understand are the federal laws dealing with this type of stuff, with and without an FEL. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Okay. So then on May 4th, 2026, there was an explosion in a residence in Odessa, Missouri. Uh, and that person said he learned how to build it um, via Dugan Ashley.
That seems super suspicious too, dude. I'm gonna be honest. They just happen to have some type of crazy detonation in the same area that he lives, and it's a mystery person, unnamed, that they searched the property and found. That sounds more like a snitch or informant than anything. But
All right. So he was charged on May 12th in the criminal complaint. And let's go over the charges one by one. So he's facing 3 counts. The first count is engaging in the business of manufacturing explosive materials without a license. Now, I was under the impression that his YouTube channel was not monetized.
yeah, so federal law states, from what I understand, that if you are synthesizing your own explosives on your own property and consuming them in that moment, and you're not transporting them or storing them, and you're doing it for non-commercial uses, and it is, you know, you consume everything and don't store it or transport it, that is 100% lawful. And I'm pretty sure that that's what the BATFE website says as well. So how how could he get in trouble for filming something and putting information out there of something that the BATFE website says is lawful? That
Now,
doesn't make sense to me.
let me ask you this, 'cause I really didn't follow his channel,
Mhm.
and I know you did. Did he have any sponsors? Did he sell anything?
No, he's
And the
Dugan
channel was
is
not
the
monetized.
Dugan hates money. He has a similar outlook on some things that I do. I think there's a couple of reasons why he may have been targeted, but no, there was zero commercial usage. There were no sponsors. It wasn't monetized. It was all for research and personal purposes.
Yeah, so, uh, that's one of the things I was wondering, how it can he be engaged in the business if he's not making any money?
Yeah.
So if, like, I know what the FAA regulations, because 'cause I'm a drone pilot. If I upload video of my drone footage and I'm monetized, I'm in violation because I'm, doing a commercial activity. But if he's not monetized, not selling any products, uh, anything like that, then I don't see how it can be engaged in the business of manufacturing explosive. And Guy, actually, I see what you're saying. Even if you charge for the knowledge, it's chemistry. I see what you're saying, but I am trying to look at this as how they came to this conclusion. Not that I'm saying I agree with the conclusion they came to, but I'm just trying to get in the minds of the people that filed these charges.
Yeah, and I think everyone understands our stance. At least my stance is that any and all arms are covered by our natural rights and protected by the limitation of the government, which is the Constitution. And anything that falls into the category of arms, to include, firearms, any weapons, including explosives, from gunpowder to RDX, should all be covered by the Second Amendment. Unfortunately, we don't live in that world, because if someone goes and does something bad and then they say that guy, his video taught me how to do it, then they're going to target him, or they may target him for other reasons too. But
Yeah.
yeah,
One of the other thing, and that's a 10-year, before we get into the other charges, that uh, could land him in jail for 10 years. We're going to get into the storage because right now, I think that is going to be amended for storage, but I'm not exactly sure. I know that's what I was told, but I'm not sure if that is actually going to happen or not. So we'll get into the storage stuff in a minute. Uh, then there was an unlawful possession of an unregistered destructive device, which would be something like, and I'm not saying I know what it is, but that would be something for just an example purpose, like a 40 millimeter grenade launcher that's not registered under the NFA.
or like an anti-personnel device or something. It would have to be some type of
Pipe
anti-personnel.
bomb.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Uh, so it
You
would
could
be,
even make a 37 millimeter. If it's turned into anything that is anti-personnel, they categorize that as a destructive device.
yeah. I'm thinking,
It could have been a blasting cap. Sorry, I just popped in my head. It could have been something like a blasting cap that was prepared or something. Like who knows what you
yeah,
know.
yeah, it could be a deck cap as well. Um, they only charged him with one charge. So usually when you buy blasting caps, you just don't buy a single blasting cap. You
Yeah,
know
I
what
mean,
I mean?
he wasn't buying them.
Or making them. Usually you don't make or buy a single blasting cap. Who are they though? They would be the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Missouri, to be
Hey,
exact.
BV. Good to see you, BV Loomis. Haven't seen you in a long time, but
Yeah. Um, I'm thinking it's probably more, he made his own blasting caps, but usually when people make own blasting caps, they just don't make a single one, right?
yeah, I mean, unless so like he did videos on that specifically, and I mean he would press one at a time. So I mean, it just I don't know what the circumstances are like, if they kicked in the door and he was sitting there literally pressing, like I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. We'll get more information as it goes along. But uh, that's a 10-year for each violation. But they only looks like they're only charging them for one violation of a destructive device.
Yeah,
So that would be 10 years. And this is one I didn't understand because I didn't even know because he's being charged, and this is the most that this is the one that had the biggest penalty, distributing information relating to the manufacture of explosives. And I thought that was covered under the First Amendment.
absolutely.
Um,
Like, how is information illegal?
yeah, like how about the Anarchist Cookbook? That has tons of how to make explosives in there.
Dude, you could pull up and you can go buy on Amazon, training manuals, like field training manuals, eBay, Amazon, anywhere on the internet. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of public, papers on explosives. The dude that originally developed RDX was like a civilian chemistry dude in the 1890s who made it, who actually like it totally turned the tables on our military. And he was just a guy. Right? There should be no restrictions on this stuff. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm getting on a
Yeah.
rabbit
But
trail.
that carries a penalty of 20 years.
That's insane, dude. So hold on. So I thought it had said 20. So you're saying two charges each of 10 years and a charge of 20 years. So we're talking charges
40
that
years.
carry 40 years.
Yeah.
Could they could they try to charge for material support to terrorism because his video was used by the
I
terrorist?
mean, they can charge you with anything, whether that will stick or
Sure.
not.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think it would because material support to terrorism usually has to have a direct link, like you knew
Yeah.
that you were supporting terrorism or whatever. For example, let's say a terrorist buys a car and goes runs into a crowd of people. like the dealership was not aware terrorists were going to take that car and run into a bunch of people.
Of course.
So they wouldn't be guilty of materially supporting terrorism. Or another thing is, let's say you donate to a charity, like there's been tons of charities that feed their children charities, whether it's the Heartland Foundation or whatever, which
Okay.
was uh, funding, I think, Hamas or Hezbollah, and they were shut down. But a lot of people gave it because they're like, "Oh, we're feeding the children," but they were actually taking the money and giving it to terrorist organizations. Now, the people that gave money to them, they weren't charged with materially supporting terrorism, even though that they technically were, because they were not aware that their money was actually going to materially support terrorism. So I think that would be a huge leap in that case.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, the protection for firearm companies, like, they have no idea if someone's gonna go, commit a terrible atrocity, How could they be held liable for that?
He's going to be held in federal custody because these are all federal charges. So that's probably why you couldn't find him in any inmate roster because he's in federal custody. The stuff that they said they found was HMTD, RDX, PETN, TNT, and a bunch of like 11 different substances they found. So I got a sneaking suspicion that they might try to get him with storage violations too.
With what you said?
Storage violations.
So they found physical explosives at his property, is what you're
That
saying?
is what I was told.
Okay, so that again, let me back up a little bit. So, based on what I understand from federal law, an individual on their own property is allowed to synthesize and make explosives as long as they consume them in that same, time period.
I think it's certain ones. I think, like the big one is RDX, which is specifically outlawed by name.
I mean, I don't know of any federal law outlawing specific explosives.
Let me see.
Now, I know that the government is most scared of people having access to that type of stuff or things like that, but there are hundreds, even thousands of YouTube channels of step-by-step instructions on how to, do chemistry like this. So, I mean, if they're going to go after one guy just because, Dugan said that these are Second Amendment protected activities and he criticized Israel, like maybe that's why, he was targeted, but
I
also
don't think it
because
has anything to do with Israel.
well, I'm just saying he on his channel, he heavily
Well,
criticized
yeah,
Israel.
but I don't think it has anything to do with Israel. I think that's not
And he
accurate.
was a big formerly, a big personality of a large YouTube channel.
Well, I
Maybe
think
he
that
was
probably had more to do with it than anything else.
yeah. But from what I understand, you can make it. It must be consumed only for personal usages or usage, not stored, not transported or sold. There can be no commercial usage at all. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I'm just saying that's the way that I understood it. And we could probably pull it up and check. But if that were the case, if because of his videos they kicked in the door and then found all this stuff, wouldn't that be fruit of a poisonous or fruit of the poisonous tree or whatever?
Uh, no. Um, yeah, okay. So here it is. Yeah, under 18 USC section 842, you cannot make RDX at all. There's no exceptions.
There is a law that states it is illegal to make RDX.
Yes.
What's the
18
penalty?
USC section 842. Um, because they consider it for military applications.
Hold on.
So you cannot.
It shall be unlawful for any person to engage in the business of importing, manufacturing, or dealing in explosive materials without a license. That's so funny. If you pay for a license, you can. Issued under this chapter, knowingly to withhold information or to make any false or fictitious oral or written statements or to furnish or exhibit any false, fictitious, misrepresented identification intended or likely to deceive for the purpose of obtaining explosive materials, yada yada. Basically, if you try to get it illegally, it's illegal.
Yeah, so manufacturing, you cannot make it.
To transport, ship, cause to be transported, or receive explosive materials, to distribute explosive material to any person other than a licensee or permittee.
Yeah, the first line says engaged in the business of importing, manufacturing. So it's not engaged in the business of manufacturing; it's just manufacturing.
Okay, so let me look this up. BATFE. Federal explosive laws. Oh my goodness, it's like a 112-page document.
And then you look at they'll go to N. It says it's unlawful for any person to possess uh to possess any plastic explosives.
That doesn't contain a detection agent.
Yeah, which I'm probably pretty sure his probably did not.
Well, it shall be unlawful for any person to ship, transport, transfer, receive, or possess any plastic explosive. So, okay, so what this is saying is that essentially plastic explosives and RDX are completely unlawful to manufacture, make,
Yeah,
even possess,
yeah.
even use to blow up a tree
Yeah,
stump.
look at O. That's what I was pointing to. Section O.
Yeah, correct. RDX is not a plastic
I
explosive,
know,
but
but the government classifies it as such.
well, he had been doing videos on the plasticization of explosives.
Yeah.
It shall be unlawful for any person, this is O, other than an agency of the United States, including any military reserve component or National Guard of any state, possessing any plastic explosive on the date of enactment of this subsection to fail to report to the Attorney General within 120 days. Supposed to possess, manufacture, importer, any marks of identification such explosive. So it's like, when these huge military manufacturing companies make C4, Simtex, or whatever, they put a traceable microscopic item inside. I forgot what it's called, but
Yeah, well,
see,
that falls under uh uh N2A.
so
I'm talking about like and like I'm talking about section O is
yeah,
what they're buffing them with,
yeah, I read through. Oh,
and
but
also they're also buffing them with section O subsection 2A and B. That's also what they're charging them with.
it
I
shall be.
I know this is getting kind of into the weeds here, but
I
I don't
mean,
think anyone else is gonna say this is what he's being charged with.
yeah, I think it's important to dive into, and some people, may not want to dive this deeply into it, but so 2A says it shall be unlawful for any person to teach or demonstrate the making or use of an explosive, a destructive device, or a weapon of mass destruction, or to distribute by any means information pertaining to, in whole or in part, the manufacture or use of an explosive destructive device, weapon of mass destruction, with the intent that the teaching, demonstration, or information be used for or in the furtherance of an activity that constitutes a federal crime of violence or yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah,
so.
but here, let me just say, I'll let you go. Sorry, because I have a problem with what they're charging him with. If this, this, because I have a huge problem with something in here with his charge. I
I,
think you might be pointing it out yourself.
so
So go
what I'm saying is that if most people's understanding of using explosives and that like I let me just say this, I've never dabbled with explosives, and aside from 37 millimeter bird bangers that are way under the legal limit, I've never messed with anything at all. I just personally find it fascinating and enjoy studying stuff like this, watching videos, etc. But I've never dabbled in it at all. That's for the feds out there. But
a bunch of other people have picked up what I was gonna harp on, but go ahead.
so yeah, for sure. I see what you're saying. But if he was just making videos and everyone's understanding is that it is lawful for you to make explosives as long as you consume them and don't store them or transport them, that's what everyone's understanding is about this. Then
Right.
if they were to seek him out based on that, and then they found that he was storing stuff and there was a destructive device, that would be, fruit of a poisonous tree, and
No,
obviously the intent that people are bringing up too. But
no, because you can get a search warrant, and the search warrant could be valid, um, even though you don't find what you're originally looking for. That's not fruit of the poisonous tree. The fruit of the poisonous tree would be like, if you used false information that you knew was false to get that search warrant.
so every chemistry channel showcasing how step-by-step instructions on making explosives is committing felonious acts.
Well, here's the thing, right? So the RDX is banned, like, because it just is. So that he's gonna have a hard time fighting that. But I want to get to the 20-year charge. I think this is the one that they're gonna have the hardest to get, is because the word, and a lot of people out there in the chat, because my chat's very, very smart, have picked it up. And that is the word intent.
Yeah,
I will reach out to them. So
they
the word
certainly
intent. Um,
they certainly can't prove that there was intent.
yeah. So what I think that charge is about, you behind the scenes, this is the way it works. You overcharge. You always overcharge if you're a prosecutor. And there's a reason why you overcharge. And I'm going to kick it over to Dark. What do you think that reason is?
The same reason we saw in, the CRS case and all these cases that we see, they charge depending on the circumstances, they charge every single possible thing that they can with the hopes that they'll either plea down so they can still keep a high, what do you call it, rate?
Conviction rate.
Conviction rate, yeah, conviction rate, or because they know that they'll get picked apart by an attorney, it'll be whittled down to just a couple of the charges, but they're hoping that people plead down.
Yeah. So what they'll do is like, hey, you plead guilty to one charge, we'll drop or two charges or whatever. Probably in this case, there's going to be one charge. And we'll drop the major one, that's 20 years in prison. It's shitty to do, but that's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is everything that they've done Is
fruit of or unconstitutional info for the search warrant. Yeah, that would also be fruit of the poisonous tree.
but but what in the videos was unlawful, I guess? Is it like I don't see where it specifically states that RDX itself as a chemical compound is banned,
They are using the government considers it a military plastic explosives, and
even though it's powder.
yeah, yeah, and that has to do with uh, like um, there's definition. It links to a bunch of definitions, and it links to like NATO, like because the government really relies on NATO classification, and it references NATO classification, and NATO classification classifies that as a plastic explosive.
Well, maybe because it has the ability to be plasticized. I don't know.
Like maybe it's like a machine gun conversion device.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about stuff that detonates at over 8,000 meters per second. This stuff is insane. The highest of high explosives, 8 to 9,000 meters per second.
Yeah. I've been working behind the scenes just to let you guys know. Yeah, I think it's gonna get pled down, but I don't think it's going to be
So, him disseminating the information in YouTube videos is what they're saying was illegal, which
yeah,
is what.
intent, because intent, but I don't think that's gonna hold. I think that's the weakest charge because they have to prove intent, and intent is very hard to like prove.
I guess I'm having a hard time understanding how, if there's hundreds of thousands of chemistry videos doing the exact same thing, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to understand that it's lawful for them to get a warrant based off of informational videos, and
Well,
then they found
they
that there was stuff stored in a destructive device, etc.
well, what they're using to get the warrant is the videos where he's synthesizing plastic explosives apparently, and the statements from the Odessa explosion and the New Orleans thing. What's up, Jordan?
Hey, Jordan.
You got to remember, probable cause is not beyond a reasonable shadow of doubt. You know, beyond reasonable doubt. So you don't need reasonable. You just need probable cause for a search warrant. And we can look at an example at the Peterson case, George Peterson with the suppressor. They had probable cause because they thought that he might be doing Shaw purchases, but it turned out he wasn't. But they found a unregistered suppressor, and that did not fall. That did not fail the fruit of the poisonous tree because they said yes, we had probable cause for that, and we found something illegal.
Yeah. I guess that's the part that I'm having a difficult time with, is that, what in the videos is unlawful. And I'm not asking you, I'm just saying that would be my question. Then, if that is what initiated this, warrant search and the apprehension of him, then what was it specifically? You know what I mean? That's
Well,
what I meant by it.
well, that's gonna be something for his lawyer to fight. What his lawyers are probably gonna do is they're probably gonna make the argument that there's nothing that was illegal in the videos, and therefore you don't have probable cause. And once you don't have probable cause, then you have the fruit of the poisonous tree, and then you can suppress all that evidence.
Yeah, that's
But that's gonna be fought out in court, and that's gonna depend on judges and everything else. It's not an easy thing to do, though. I will say that.
dude, I think, how can they assume straw purchase? I think, regardless of all of this, it's important that, like, we remember that he's a dude, right? He's just a guy. He has a family, and I think he has, like, 4 kids with a wife who stays home, doesn't have a job. Like, what is she gonna do now? I feel like the things that the government are doing is evil, and I'm not saying that it's a good idea to go, you know, do the things that he did, but I also don't believe that it's unlawful. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. They're gonna use the synthesizing, plastic explosives on his channel. That's what I think that they're gonna I'm just thinking how they think. With my autism, I can, you know, separate myself and look from the other side.
Yeah, I feel you.
Um,
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. He, definitely did not deserve this, and this is gonna be a massive fight for a long time.
I
Uh,
know that somebody is setting up a fundraiser, but I don't think it's set up quite yet.
yeah, apparently there's, one of the other chemistry guys, that also has a channel, I believe, was in talks with, family, and they were working on setting something up,
Yeah,
but
but it's not set up quite yet, so I don't think there's a legit one right now.
yeah. I mean, what do you think, this does not seem like a situation where any of these groups could jump in and help him because it sounds like the storage laws were broken, maybe even transportation or whatever, like,
I don't know anything about transportation. I don't think that was even alleged.
but I mean, not just using it for non-commercial uses and consuming it on the spot. There's nothing that these, 2A advocacy organizations could do in this situation.
Oh, there might be, but the issue I really see, um, the issue I really see is they're gonna look at the RDX videos and the plastic explosive videos.
And probably the detonators, because if detonators, they're housed in metal casings, um, they could consider that itself a destructive device
Yeah,
because the metal casing would frag,
yeah.
a number 10 blasting cap is a
It
big.
it it's going to be a a hard case to defend, and right now, every gun rights organization every gun rights organization is running on fumes right now. What I mean by that is there's so many lawsuits going on right now that that I know lawsuits that are in the hopper to be filed since January, but they haven't been able to be filed, and it's not because they don't wanna file them. They're ready to go. It's just there's not enough bandwidth.
Spread too thin.
Yeah.
Yeah, guy, that was the same thing I was saying. Like, I could picture them scraping a spoon with a razor blade, like, we have storage, or like a glass stir or beaker, graduated cylinder, whatever, something like that. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, what people don't know is that you can literally, actually, I probably don't want to give information out. A lot of this stuff is simple to do. It's not easy, but like you could literally pull in, what is it, hydrochloric acid from the air, You can make an apparatus that collects something that can be used in the synthesis of stuff from just the air. You could chop down a tree and synthesize trinitral toluene. You could take hexamine and synthesize RDX. This is stuff that is like super simple to do. It's just not easy. It takes a considerable amount of care, effort, and knowledge and understanding and protection. So, I mean, it's not like this is not something that millions of people are doing, or they'd be selling little baggies of RDX on the street just like dope, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you did anything wrong. Free Dugan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he did anything wrong.
Yeah,
Well,
this is true. Technically, sugar is energetic. You're probably all storing it in your house. Hopefully, no one is storing erythritol, sugar substitute, things like that. Yeah, I mean, I think these are things that should all be covered by our, you know, uh, being arms. But no matter what, the federal government isn't going to agree. But we just got to shut up and appreciate that we're living in the golden age. Golden age, ultimate freedom.
oh, talking about George Peterson. We were just talking about your case, bud.
Oh, hola.
That's George Peterson, the United States versus Peterson.
Wondering what James Madison would say about laws on explosives. Excellent point. Yeah, this is just sad. It's unfortunate. And the years that I had gotten to know him, I think he's a great dude. He's a family man. He's had a lot of struggles with his personal health, and this is not good.
All right. All right, we're gonna wrap up here. There's no ticks and bangs tonight. I am doing a video that will launch tonight if I get it done on Ticks and Bangs. That's my watch podcast every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Hank is on vacation and actually hung out with him yesterday for a little bit. So no ticks and bangs, but today I am wearing my Rolex GMT Batgirl.
Nice. I'm rocking my
Apple Watch.
titanium ulti, whatever it is.
Yeah, Ultra.
Does diarrhea count as explosives? Yes. You are in
Oh.
breach of the law.
So just to clean the palate, I do want to bring this up. They did a poll. If Marco Rubio, if the next presidential election was today and Marco Rubio ran against AOC, they did a poll in all 50 states and they have what the predicted map would be. Would you like to see it?
Sure. That is interesting.
Which is the exact map of Mondale versus Reagan, which is interesting.
Wow. Facts. Very good point.
I hope she does run because right now she is leading as the one who's probably going to get the nomination. And Rubio is plus 22 as well. And on the Republican side.
Yeah, that is interesting. So he says, I think part of the reason they went after him is they know it's a death sentence. At 40 years old with MS, yeah, I mean, 40 years in prison, that's significant.
Well, before we get the reason why they go after people, it's like, why don't they go after me ever?
Because they know you have an arsenal of attorneys that would help.
Yeah, I'm fairly well off, so I would have like Jay-Z said, I got money to fight the case.
Mm-hmm.
I got attorneys. So they look for low-hanging fruit, people that don't have money to fight the case and people that don't have money. I mean,
Also, I agree. I think that's spot on.
and don't have attorneys.
I'm also wondering why they would leave his channel up. If that in itself was what was illegal, then why would they leave it up? You know, I don't know.
Probably control the channel now.
Yeah,
Probably
probably.
honeypotting the shit out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Interesting.
they want to make examples. I
Yeah.
don't do anything illegal though, so
Me
or
either.
anywhere close to that line.
Squeaky freaking clean. The
Yeah.
moment I started a YouTube channel. Well, a little after I started a YouTube channel. Squeaky clean.
As of 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
No, just joking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for coming on, Dark. I appreciate it with your insight. You are more familiar with Dugan actually than I am.
He's a good dude. It's unfortunate, man.
Um,
It's a sad day. Freaking hold an AK, like 1-800 operator. Like, man. Yeah, it's a shame, dude. It's a shame.
yeah. I'm under the fucking microscope, dude.
We all are. I'll tell you what, some of the things I've been talking about Virginia over on my Rumble channel, DLD After Dark, because I go live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at about 10:30 p.m. Eastern ish. Yeah, I kind of feel like you know, they're listening, they're paying attention, they're just waiting for the right thing or wrong thing to be said.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they're lucky that they grabbed him before he could even get out of bed, because I don't know how things would have gone for them if things had been different. So I'm
Yeah.
just glad that he's okay and alive and no one died in that raid, I guess you could call it.
Yep. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys. God bless Dugan and his family, and hope they make it through this.
All right. I will see you guys later. Bye bye.
Later.